If it's not one little thing, it's another today. Hi friends, this is Sally and I'm still on Camp Creek. I'm actually not on Camp Creek, I'm up here. Camp Creek is over there. Maybe I can show you out my window. Hold on, hold on. You see that? Sort of? Anyway, that way's Camp Creek. Now I'm lopsided, but who cares? It's Friday, and this is Sally, and I'm not on Camp Creek, although I am on Camp Creek. Camp Creek is over there. I'm up on the hill, you know, in the trailer house. I'm up on the hill, the one that the tornado's gone over twice. I'm not worried. I have a good cellar. I'm not worried. But when I was down at the bottom of the hill, I had some water trouble, and I ended up higher up on the hill. And I love it. But I still have down on the hill because my son went and reworked that house. He worked it over and he got rid of had to dig some stuff and fix it so the water wasn't right up to the door. And he did all that. So it's all good down there and he's down there and I'm up here. And it's Friday. Praise the Lord. It's Friday on Camp Creek. Well, sort of. And I am crafting. This is like my third try at this video thing, I tell you. I've just had a time. Howard is here. Howard. He's gone outside because the door is open. And he is being very naughty today. So today, I got up and around. And, oh, he heard me talking about him. Can you hear his little bell, his little tag? Come here, Howard. Come here. Come on, he's so sweet. Oh, what? You got a sticker? Do you got a sticker in your foot? Look, Howard, say hello. Say hello, Camp Creek. Camp Creek friends, or friends of Camp Creek, maybe I should say. He wants to look at me. Anyhow, where's your sticker? Do you have a sticker? Oh, maybe that was one. Anyway, Howard was naughty because today, when I went to mop the hallway, and under the beds in the bedroom, I mopped today, this morning. The house smells fresh and clean. When I went to mop, Howard came in here and he ate some yarn. Yes, he did. I had this box of sock bits. Oh yeah, you see it, don't you? And he got them out and he drugged them all over the living room. And he wrapped his little self up in them. Oh, he wants down so bad. Oh, there he goes. Anyway, he made a mess. I straightened it out. Those are my sock bits. My sock bits are going into my sock shawl. This is my memory shawl. Everything's memory for me. I make lots of stuff in honor of or in remembrance of. This is all of this. It's not all, but it's a majority, a lot of the socks. Yarns that I have made socks with. There should be, I have some more bright pinks and purples, but I put a few of those in here, but I didn't want it to look too clashy, and I thought the greens and browns and dark purpley colors looked better. So that's what I did. Anyway, these are the bits that I had left. I used to make a lot of socks for my husband when he was alive. He loved my homemade socks, and I loved that he loved them. And no matter how, I mean, you know, once in a while one would be bigger than the other, but he didn't care. And he worked on his feet all day, and he found them to be comfortable. He was a farmer, but you know, if you're a farmer, you have to have a day job. You have to have a job to afford being a farmer. So he worked in a laboratory at a hospital. He was a lab guy, and so he stood on his feet a lot. And he liked my socks. So, oh, piffle, piffle, piffle. See, we had a little problem this morning because Howard got into my stuff and drug it around. And I see now, I didn't think I had any damage. But I see now I have a run. Look at that. I can fix that. But it doesn't make me very happy that I have to fix it. Howard. Howard. It's easily fixable. I think I can just tie it off, honestly. This yarn up here was some cashmere, mulberry silk, and merino. And I got it at Tuesday Mornings, which is kind of a outlet store, sort of, for $8 a skein. And I bought 2 skeins, and I think I still have a skein somewhere. And I made my husband a pair of socks, and those, he loved those a lot. And I believe that's those, I think we buried him in those. I'm not sure. Not that it matters. Our funeral director always insisted on people having socks on when he buried them. My mom hated socks. She hated them. But he just insisted she had to have socks on, even though she hated socks. So, I mean, it didn't bother her at that point. But, you know, I always thought that was funny. So that's those. And then there's some, this is clover. I love that color. It's a Patton's Croy in clover. And there's some Walk Away, which I don't know what brand that was. I don't remember. But it had 100 grams in a skein, and you could get a pair out of a skein. It was kind of a small, like you had to use a size 1. But I have everything in here. I just am using a 2. And like right now, the yarn I'm on is a Heart and Soul, and it's more pinkish, but there's just a little bits it doesn't show, and it's a 1, but it's going to be fine because you know, it's garter stitch, and it's a good thing because I'm having to fix where Howard messed it up all over the place. Howard, all kinds of pull places in here where he drug it across the floor when he was destroying my yarn balls earlier while I was mopping my floor. This is a good reason not to mop your floors, right? Don't leave your yarn unattended. This is some Deborah Norville Serenity, and I like that for sock yarn. I'm a little low. Let's, oh, dropping you. Don't drop, don't fall. No, it cannot be. So I like that for a sock yarn. I like that Deborah Norville Serenity bamboo. My husband liked that too. Okay, so anyway, and then there's some, a lot of Croy Patton's Croy. And then this purpley one, this one here, came from the yarn store we used to have in Watonga that was owned by Donna Smith. I miss that store. And there's some green that's an alpaca that really wasn't a sock yarn, but it's the same size. I made baby sweaters out of it. But the rest of it is just Heart and Soul, Deborah Norville Serenity, Patton's Croy, and some, what's the other one? There might be a bit of Michael's brand. I don't remember what that was called in here, because I think I recognize that. And some knit picks. All socks that I made. The white, this creamy white, is from Mary Maxim that my sister gifted me, and I have not made socks out of it yet, so this is somewhat cheating, but she had made a shawl out of it that she never finished. She was making a shawl for a friend, and she hadn't picked the colors out. First thing they did was they told her after she started they didn't really like the idea of a shawl, but they would rather have a poncho. So she was making them a beaded poncho, and somewhere along the line they said, well, they really didn't like it, and so she just put it up. So she gave it to me, and it is merino, and it's very soft, and it has like a denim fleck in it. It might have a tiny bit of a gray also. It's real squishy and it feels real nice. Anyway, that is what I'm doing. This that I've got now is wool-free, Premier wool-free. I have some Premier yarn too. Yeah. And these were socks I made for my sister, the one that's still living, that lives in Arizona. And that is supposedly a cool yarn, you know. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. Why did I drag this out when I have all these other things to do? Well, honestly, I finished my beaded green shawl and Parker's blanket and 2 other baby blankets. And I finished JoJo's poncho. And I feel like I finished a couple other things this season. And we're nearing the end of this season, and September 1st is upon us, and I feel like that starts another season in my mind. And so I'm looking forward to different projects, right? So I drug this out because this is the anniversary week of my sister's passing, and I think I was thinking about her, and I wanted to work on this, I don't know, sentimental. Also, my husband's birthday would have been last week. So they're all having a great time. We're all left down here to figure it out, right? Oh my goodness. Anyway, that's that. And I've got to fix the pull places because Howard messed them up. I don't know if I showed you this, but these are my bits. I think I already did. Those are just a few of the bits. I love the gold. This is a Knit Picks and this is a Knit Picks, these two. I love those colors. The greens are also, and this was a really fun one. This is, I believe, Heart and Soul, which was a red heart, and it was a color I liked a lot. And this was interesting. I can't remember what brand it was, but it's all these greens, and then all of a sudden it's this flash of magenta that just shows up in the yarn. Kind of cool. So, that is that. I've got it in this little Dollar General box. Works real well. Granny squares. I purchased, that sounds better, doesn't it? Some more gold for this. And I want you to take note. This is Super Saver. 7 ounces. They've gone to 7 ounces instead of 10, 12, 16. Remember? Do we remember? Oh, yeah. But now we have 7 ounces for the same price. Very annoying. But I bought it, as you can see. These are all red hearts with just a little bit of, I love this yarn. Actually, the black is I love this yarn. And I'm getting them together slowly but surely. I think that this is for my living room. I probably won't use that one too much white. I have my other blanket back there that I still haven't woven the ends in yet. But I've got some more of these. And I did pick up some purple and this color right here. Because I see that little dog has been in that box digging in my yarn. Ay, 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 ay. Look at that. Anyway, I have this many. And these mostly, there's very few like this. Most of them just have the black needs to be done in. What I'll do is I will make up a bunch of the centers. A whole bunch of them, like 20. And then usually, which I did not on this one, because I want to see how these colors went, I think. I will sit down when I get them done and I will weave in the belly buttons. I'll get the belly buttons nice and tight and pretty and flat, because I don't want to outie, you know, I don't want to look like, okay, this is going to require a plastic surgeon someday. No, I want them flat. So I get the belly buttons flat and I get all those trimmed and I set them aside, and then I'll do the next 2 rounds usually. And then I will get the 2 rounds tails sewn in. I know some people can do it where they don't have tails. I'm not those people. And then I will have a whole stack of those, and then I will put the black on. Always put the black on last on a bright day. I like this one. I did this on purpose. I think it looks like a 4-leaf clover, and I thought I would put 11 of these in my blanket, just because. But I've got these all done. So I haven't decided how I'm going to put them together yet. I don't suppose I'll even have them ready to go together till January. This one's pretty. I like that one. But eventually, and that's all here because I'm one of those little ladies who sets my, I like the queen bee. All of my projects are surrounding my chair, and nobody better get in my chair. And if they do, they better get out when I say, "Hey, get out of my chair." It's a rule. Anyway, so I haven't worked on my shawl, on my scarf, but I'm going to have to get that done. I only have a little bit left, and it's knitting. But I've just been wanting to crochet, other than I wanted to get that sock memories out and work on it a little bit, because I haven't since I don't know when. So I've got socks to finish, and we're coming up on the weather to do that, so I need to get that done. But I've been going to make a cover for this ugly chair, and I found this fabric my daughter bought in some of my stuff, and it's like a heavy canvas, kind of. It's not real heavy, but it's, sort of heavy. And it doesn't really, I don't know if it matches my room or not, but I think I'm going to make a cover for my chair, because my chair gets so dirty, because I guess I'm just a grungy old lady, and it gets dirty, and I have to take it apart and wash it, and I've done that a dozen times, and I don't know how many more times the cushion covers are going to tolerate that. Anyway, so I'm going to do that. I was thinking when I was working on that sock yarn, I was thinking about my husband's socks, and I thought of a funny story I wanted to tell you. Okay, so you know how everybody's different, right? My mom had 2 sisters, so there were 3 of them. And I didn't really know her sisters because we moved and I wasn't around them. But my uncle, one of the sisters' husband, who I always adored as a small child, he would come back this way and I would get to see them. And he told me one time when my mom had had liver surgery and she'd been sick, and my aunt came to stay with her, which was, I'm sure, a very big strain for both my mother and my aunt, because they were so opposite, right? Okay, so my mom was an eternal optimist, and my aunt was kind of more on the realistic negative side of things. So, and I didn't really realize that till my uncle told me that my mom would only see the good in anything, no matter what it was. But my aunt could never see the good in anything. She could only see the bad. And he thought that was so funny. And he told me a little bit about their childhood and raising that I didn't know. I had a very, very difficult childhood. And I knew that, but I didn't know how bad it was. Like, there were 3 girls, and 2 of them were of the same age. One was a bit younger, I think. But between them, they had 2 skirts and 2 shirts. That's all they had. And they alternated them. They were the same size, and they alternated them all through high school. So, hey, less laundry to do, right? But things like that. I know my mom got passed out. They said she had malnutrition because she was saving she could work in the cafeteria at school for so much a day, and she got her lunch that way. And so she quit eating lunch. So they gave her however much money it was that she wanted a class ring. So she was saving her money for a class ring, which she did end up getting, but she also passed out because she wasn't eating. So when my mom was a kitchen lunch lady at school, and she had the school, she put in so much money out of every check to help a kid who wasn't going to get a class ring get one, because it was so important to her. We didn't have any money. We were poor people. My mom was a giver. She would find a way to give no matter what. And we didn't have a lot of money, but she always gave. Always, always, always. She would give her quarters. She would save her change. And she didn't usually save the quarters. She saved the nickels and dimes and pennies. She would put them in a jar. And she would put them up so she didn't think about them. And we had a little friend who was a missionary in Italy, and she would send those to her. One time she counted them. Was just going to send her the cash. But there was $60 there, and it was harder to send $60 than just a bucket of change. So she quit doing that, and she paid the postage. This is, mind you, when postage was much cheaper. And she would just send the jar, I believe is how she did it most of the time. So she was a saver anyway. So she would buy class rings for kids, and anonymously. And I didn't know she did this till years later. My principal told me. And I believe it was after she died. He told me that. I knew that she had bought a couple. And there were a couple of rings that I knew kids at our church that she had bought. Just because I helped find out what they wanted or how much it was going to be. And then after that, she just gave so much. And anyway. And there's some stories with those, but that's for another time. Anyway, how did I get off on that? I don't really know. Oh, memories. So I think I inherited my mom's ability to save the good memories and ditch the creepy ones most of the time. Unless I could think of something funny and enjoyable about a bad memory, I just got rid of it, right? So I was thinking of that when I was when I was knitting on that sock shawl. And I was remembering one time, me and my husband never really fought. We never fought. Mostly I'm non-combative, and I don't like to fight. And he just didn't fight with me much. But and that's good and bad. Sometimes I think I have a friend and they fight all the time. They've been married for 40 years, but they fight all the time. And it used to really bother me that they fought all the time. And my husband said, don't you know, some people just like to do that. They get along better that way. So I understand some people, maybe they're happier because they fight. I got no idea. But we just didn't fight. And we were very happy. We just didn't fight. Anyway, we almost had a fight because one day we were trying to find something to watch on TV. And we had some kids with us at the house. I was trying to find something decent kids could watch. And the Muppet movie came on. And I said, oh, I remember that. I said, do you remember that movie? He said, no. I said, oh, yeah, you remember. We went and saw that movie. We went to, we saw it in Woodward. You don't remember that? No, I don't remember that. And he had a good memory. I said, yes, you remember. We went to the show, but the only thing that was playing was rated R. And I couldn't go to a rated R movie. My dad was particular, and I'm glad. I said, remember, so we went to the drive-in. I wasn't allowed to go to the drive-in either, but we were with another couple, so that kind of made it better. And the Muppet movie was on, and I wanted to watch it because I had Animal, and I had Kermit, and I puppeted when I was in high school. And I had a Kermit the Frog doll, but I had an Animal puppet. Anyway. I said, you remember, don't you? Oh, no, I don't remember that. I've never seen that movie. Yes. We went to the drive-in because we decided that my dad would probably be better with that than if I went to the other, and because it wasn't rated R. And you remember we went and we had those other people with us, and they sat in the back, and that was a bit uncomfortable. Remember we went and sat out on the hood of the car because we didn't want to sit in the car with them. I said, you don't remember that? He's like, I have never seen that movie before. You must have gone with someone else. I said, no, I went with you. Remember, we went to Woodward. We went and ate. We ate pizza at Pizza Hut. We went to the show. It was rated R. I didn't want to go see it. It was a horror film, and plus it was rated R. And so the driving around the corner, remember, we went and Muppet movie was on, and we talked about it, and we decided, well, that was a better thing anyway. Dad would probably be okay with it. So we went to the drive-in, and the people were smooching in the back seat. So we went and sat on the hood of the car. Remember, it was your grandma's car, and we'd borrowed your grandma's car. About that time, my mind starts clearing. And some little voice back here said, his grandma didn't have a car. I said, yeah, you were afraid we were going to dent the hood. I was going to dent the hood, and so we didn't sit on the hood. We leaned on the car, your grandma's car, and he just went. I said, never mind. It was someone else. Because he said, you went with someone else. It wasn't me. Oh, yeah. Anyway, it was funny. And so I made him watch the Muppet movie with me, which he thought was stupid. And I thought, yeah, I should have known better. He would have never said, let's go to the Muppet movie. No, he would not have done that. Anyway, memories. Lots of memories. See, I told him, I said, you should be totally flattered. Every memory I have, I put you in it, whether you were there or not. And I do that because I'll say, do you remember when this happened? And I'm like, no, that was when I was in grade school, you know. But in my mind, he's there. So, he was memorable, right? I couldn't help it. Then I got to thinking about that kid that I went to that show with. That was his grandma's car. And my friend, he was my friend's boyfriend's cousin that was like here from Kansas or something. And I went to the show with him several times. We were good friends. I mean, like, we didn't write letters or talk to each other. But anytime he was down for harvest, there would always be a night they were rained out or something. And my friend would call and say, we're going to go to the show. Do you want to go? And I would go. We did that 2 or 3 summers. And anyway, she broke up with that boyfriend and I never heard from him again. But he was a nice guy and I liked to go to the show with him. But in my mind, I put Wesley in it every time. His grandma didn't loan us her car. I don't even know if she ever owned a car. She probably did. But I know Aunt Vera did the driving that I was ever around. So, I don't know. Funny story. I got lots of funny stories. Anyway, we're talking about my sister. I'll tell you a funny story about my sister. Let's see. I'm thinking. My sister was fun. She was crazy. She was a lot of fun. One time, we had my brother-in-law. It was really not my brother-in-law. He was my sister-in-law's next husband, or husband after my brother. But we don't believe in divorce. We just get more family. If they're nice and we want to keep them, we just keep them. If they're not, we forget they were ever there. You know? Oh, anyway, my sister-in-law's husband, Dennis, he was a very nice guy, but he was a veteran and he had gotten into some chemicals or something. I never really knew, but he had terrible kidney trouble and he had to do dialysis. And she worked away. So if he got in a bind, he would call my sister, because my sister and my sister-in-law are the same age and went to school together. I'm younger. So he would call and we would try to do what we could for him while she was away. So he called, or she called us at 4 a.m. She called my sister, I think it was middle of the night, and said, he's not doing well. He can go tomorrow for dialysis, but someone has to take him. And so, she called me and we were like worried. We were worried. So it's summertime and she's like, we've got to take Dennis to the city for dialysis to the VA. What are we going to do? And I said, well, we'll take him. We'll just take him. What car can we drive? So we scrounged up a car because my husband was working away and he had the good car. And she had a car, but it had an injection problem. It would go up a hill, would go start fast, would slow. Then he'd get to the top and he'd go really fast like that. It was a problem. Bucket seats, you had to crawl through over to get in, I can't remember what kind of car it was. It wasn't nothing fancy. It wasn't nothing to speak of. It might have been blue. Anyway, hi Howard. So, and it didn't have air conditioner, right? And it's summertime. The hot part of the summer too, I believe, as it had been hot. So she says, I'm coming to get you. I'll be there at 5. Well, it's still dark, I grabbed on the coolest thing I could find and threw on my old Dr. Scholl sandals I'd paid $3 for at Walmart. We found on sale. My sister had a pair just like them. And I put on a muumuu because I had muumuu I'd bought at Walmart for $5 that was like green and hot pink and yellow, and it was hideous, but it was cool. And my sister had one just like it because we'd been to the same sale. And I run out 4:30 in the morning and I jump in the car and made sure I had a few dollars. Usually things happen like that and I'd be off with no money at all. And had my purse and we run and got Dennis and he did not look good. And we rushed him to the city to the doctor. About halfway there, he's looking at us funny. And we realized we both have the same muumuu on, okay? We got the same muumuu on in a car, and we looked down, we got the same shoes on because we bought them on sale at the Walmart, right? So we're going down the road in this hideous car with the windows down and our hair's blowing in the wind. And Dennis is in the back trying to stay alive, bless his heart. He did not feel good that day. It was bad. But he would not sit in the front. He absolutely would not sit in the front. It might have been because he's scared of our driving. I'm not quite sure, but he stayed in the back. Tall guy, and he laid down. I think he was tall. It seems like he was tall. Anyway, so, and we did the up the hill and woo down the hill in that stupid car. I think we got pulled over on that trip by a policeman who wanted to know what was wrong, why we were driving so slow. And here we are dressed so weird, you know. And we told him, Dennis by then was already at the hospital. And we told the policeman and we said, we're having trouble with this car. It just goes chooka, 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 woo, chooka, chooka. And he just laughed and said, well, try to get home as best you can, and left us to it. Thankfully, we did not get a ticket for being scary drivers, mysterious. He told us to take the back roads and get off of the highway, which was good advice, but some of that you can't get off the highway. You know, you're going to the other side of the city. Anyway, fuel injection problem, I think. I don't remember. My dad was a mechanic. Nothing ever worked right. So we get up there, we get Dennis dropped off at the VA, and we had to pick him back up. It seems like he had to check in and do his paperwork and then go eat lunch or something and then come back. So we dropped him off. There's no place to park. We were scared to turn our engine off. So we circled the parking lot, and when we come back around, we were on the wrong side of the highway and we couldn't get to him. We could see him standing out there leaning on the thing, gray, doing this, trying to wave at us. And we were waving. So I had the windows down. My hair was going, we're waving, and we're all dripping sweat and red-faced. And finally, what he did was he came to us. He went under the overpass and came up the other side and flagged us down, and we were able to pick him up. It was terrible, terrible. Anyhow, we could drop him off, but we couldn't go back. We couldn't get back there because when we came back up, it put us on the other spot of the interstate, or yeah. Anyway, I don't drive in places like that. Thankfully, someone always takes me around, or I just stay home. So, then we brought him back, and we dropped him off, and then we had to go home, and the car acted worse, and we got lost, and we were in the bad part of somewhere. I don't even know where we were, but it was the bad part. I mean, like, there was obviously some women of the evening over here making deals, you know, and over here, people selling drugs, and in the middle of the road was a lady with a bottle and a buggy, and we were lost. And my sister rolls the window down and asks the lady, could you tell us how to get to the highway? Or for some reason, we needed to drop something off at the post office, and I feel like it was her taxes. Like April, you got to have your taxes in. May, June. She never got them done till June, and she had to mail them off for a certain date. It was going to cost her money. This is what makes me think it was June. And so this lady started screaming about the post office and going crazy and yelling at us and throwing stuff at us. And we rolled the windows up because it was hot. We had the windows down. And we went to the next person, and they told us, well, they said we looked like we were lost, other than although we looked like we were lost, it appeared we could fit right in with the local crowd, something like that. Yeah, that was good. No one, you know, we never get harassed anywhere. No one wants to steal anything I got. So my mom used to say if anyone stole her purse, she'd get it back with a sympathy card and $5. Give it back to her because she's so poor. Anyhow, we got out of there and we finally got home. We were dressed in the same muumuu. We had the same shoes on. We looked like total goofballs. We looked so bad we wouldn't stop anywhere anyway. So all day long we were in that dripping. And we laughed about that, about getting in the car and getting halfway to the city and realizing we were dressed alike. Oh, goodness. But it was fun. We had a lot of good memories, a lot of fun. One time, this is so funny, I have to tell you this. I'm sure I've told you this before, but I'll tell you again. One time after my mom died. So my mom died. It was very sad. She was sick a while. She got a liver transplant. She was good a while, and then she died. And my dad married just a few weeks later a lady who was a friend of my mom's. And it was a whole dramatic thing. Anyway, so she got married real quick. Or my dad got married real quick after my mom died. So there was a lot going on, you know. So we had funeral and we had wedding. We had, although they kind of eloped, but we had shower. And it was just a lot, you know. And my dad wanted the flowers to be off of the grave before the wedding because that bothered him. They were married 50 years, you know, almost, I think. So my sister and I went out to clean the grave off so that when my dad married my mom's friend, the flowers would no longer be still wilting. I don't know, it was a thing. So we went out to do that, and I was just, you know, there was a lot going on, and there was just no time for grieving. And I told my sister, I'm so mad at my mom today. I'm so mad at mom today. I cannot believe she left us like that. And my sister's like, makes me mad too. Aren't you just mad at them all? She's just mad at them. I'm like, so she could stir me up. Yeah, I am. I'm just really mad. You know, why can't we do things normally? You know, because there's always drama. And she's like, don't you just want to go out there and kick mom's tombstone? I said, I do. We should just do that. She's like, well, maybe you could just go out there and yell at her grave. Let's go. Yell at her grave and just tell her what we think for leaving. And I said, let's just do it. So we get out there. And she pulls up. She's always the one driving. And she's like, you go first. And I'm like, I can go first. You go first. It was your idea. No, you go first. You go first. You go ahead. I said, well, okay, I'm just going to do it. I get out there and I stand in front of the grave and I go, and I kick the grave. Not very hard though, because it's made of stone. And I turn around and my sister's in the car going, I'm like, what is so funny? And I realize she's pointing this way. There's a bunch of people over there around a grave. I don't think they had been, I think the funeral was over, but the family was still there. I just got in the car. I said, let's go. Let's go right now. And we did. She did that kind of stuff to me all the time. All the time. Anyway, I miss her. I miss her. But I'll see her again. And if they allow ornery pranks in heaven, I'm sure she's having a blast because she's up to it. Let me tell you what. Up to it. So, get your knitting out and make some memories this weekend. Work on something. Go to a yarn store and buy some expensive yarn that you can't afford. That would be fun. I'm going to make Howard go out and potty before he puddles my floor again. Potty training a dachshund is not for the weak of heart. I will see you guys next time. You have a blessed weekend and just hug your family and praise the Lord for them. Bye.